So Marathon has been out for just over a month, and this was supposed to be Bungie's next big freaking game. This game has been through it. Playtesters played the game and they weren't too happy with it, and then they went back to the drawing board, and then there was the whole stolen art debacle where they stole someone's art and didn't credit them. They did fix that. But this was Sony's big game. We all know that for the last few years, they were trying to push live service game after live service game. But are they finally coming to their senses? Because it isn't actually looking too good for Marathon, because this is a big AAA game. And the Steam numbers, they did say that I believe most of the sales, or 70% of the sales, were on Steam. So those numbers actually matter. Will they swiftly move on from this game? If you like these videos, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button, and let's go. So if we look at the Steam numbers straight away with Marathon, it isn't looking too good. As of this video right now, over 15,000 players are playing this game. This is not good for a AAA game. This is unbelievable when you come to think about it. This live service game relies on numbers. That's the thing about live service. You have to have a player count to keep this game alive. Otherwise, how are you going to continue making money with all of these updates if this game is going to last quite a few years? So it only peaked really at 88,000 players on Steam, and literally it's just been over a month, and this is sitting at 15,000 players. This is unbelievable, and this makes you think, why did Sony go this route with a hardcore extraction shooter? Because I've heard people playing the game that this is for the hardcore extraction shooter players. This is not for the general person like myself, person that really likes something like Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders is very simple to get used to. You get in, you get out, but supposedly this is quite a hard game to play. You have to really work hard to, not lose your damn loot. And we've heard it all before from different studios. We've heard Ubisoft with X-Defiant. They said they're going to support the game. And I know a few weeks ago we did get an article from Bungie saying we're in it for the long haul. Bungie rejects rumors it could move on from Marathon after unremarkable PS5 sales. So if you do remember, an estimated 1.2 million units were sold, and only 19% of those copies were sold on the PS5. And this is after obviously Concord. This is after obviously High Card. Man, High Guard, do you remember that? So this is what they said. We are in it for the long haul with Marathon. We're looking forward to many years of steady improvements to every aspect of the game. Thank you for taking this journey with us. And to be honest, I don't think you can really look at this and actually believe this when you come to think about it, because you look at High Guard. The company and the developers, didn't they say the same thing? They said, we don't need to rely on a massive player count for this game. We just need to find a core audience. And then the game gets shut down a few weeks later. And that's the thing with some of these live service games. It's just, I haven't seen the hype and enjoyment around Marathon. And for me, it just doesn't appeal to me, because I really do think with those graphics and with the first person shooter, it needs a freaking campaign. I think this would have sold so much better if they had a campaign. It just baffles me that Sony went this route and just thought, you know what? You could have done a campaign, and then you could have done, obviously, focused on the multiplayer. I really do think because of Battlefield 6, now I know those numbers have dropped, but the reason I bought that game is because it had a campaign. If it didn't, I wouldn't have bought the game. I just always in that mindset of need a campaign, let me enjoy it, even if it's like 5 hours long. Battlefield 6, it wasn't the greatest campaign, but I had a lot of fun playing that game. And then I played a bit of the multiplayer, and I feel like I've got my money's worth. But for me, I can't warrant buying this game because I'm not much of a hardcore extraction shooter or a hardcore multiplayer fan. And yeah, it just doesn't really appeal to me, although the gameplay looks like a lot of fun. And when you come to think about it, when you compare it to something like Crimson Desert has got live service numbers right now. So as of this video, current peak of 157,000, and currently it has 143,000 players playing the game. This is for a single player game. So when it comes to Marathon, I don't care what you say. These numbers are not good, because Sony bought this company for $3.6 billion. You really think they would have bought them and thought, you know what, their next game's going to hit a peak of 88,000 players? This is really not good when you come to think about it. And this article was back in 2022. And obviously it was coming at the same time as Microsoft buying that $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. And that's been an absolute shit show since 2022 when it comes to think about it with Xbox. It just really makes me think, are Sony ready ready to kind of move on from these live service games. Now, I don't think they will. How much money Sony make from microtransactions, from all of these microtransactions from these free-to-play games, is extortionate. They make so much money that they're going to want to kind of take the risk and try and freaking make their own live service game. Although, even though they're like, if we get it right, we get it right and we're going to make so much money. If Concord actually cost $200 million freaking dollars, how the hell would you think, you know what, that's a risk worth taking? Definitely not when you come to think about it. This article was on the 16th of May of obviously 2025, but at the time, for the fiscal year as a whole, microtransactions pocketed PlayStation a cool $9.23 billion in revenue, an incredible 29.3% of the division's entire income. That's a larger share than any other category, including physical game sales, digital downloads, hardware subscriptions, and so on. So it's worth remembering that Sony makes the money by scraping 30% off the top of microtransactions from these big games like Fortnite, Genshin Impact, Roblox, and so forth. Oh yeah, it makes you think, Fair Games, what the hell is going on with Fair Games without the dollar sign, although this has the dollar sign? I just think Sony needs to come to their senses, and it's not to say not to continue try and make live service games, but try and make it make sense. Because if you keep trying to bring out live service after live service, there's only so much time people have. Even Arc Raiders, when you come to think about it, on Steam, you're still looking at 98,000, and that's still a lot of players, and that's just on Steam. A lot of people bought that game on PlayStation as well, and it had a peak of 481,000. This is ridiculous. And when you come to think about it, this is even worse. Supposedly, it cost roughly $250 million to make Marathon. That is absolutely ridiculous. And it says here, at $40, it suggests it needs to sell between 7 to 15 million copies to break even. That is never gonna happen. That is freaking extortionate. And when you compare it to the budget of Arc Raiders, supposedly it cost 75 million, which is really freaking low in comparison. And the team size was around 70 developers, and it developed over approximately 3 years. This is absolutely ridiculous when you come to think about it, that you've got a AAA studio like Sony and PlayStation costing 250 million to make a game that a lot of people are not interested in. And then you've got someone like Arc Raiders, Embark Studio, making an incredible game for flipping 75 million. Don't get me wrong, it's still freaking expensive, but that is absolutely ridiculous. And supposedly it's generated over $500 million in revenue from 12 million plus units sold by early 2026. I just think when it comes to live service, or when it comes to Bungie, and when it comes to Marathon, I do think they're in big trouble, because you can't just make those numbers up. What are they going to do? Put the prices up again of the consoles? Why are we going to bear the flipping grief of their failures? Already put the prices up for these consoles. I just think if they're going to do anything with Marathon, personally, I think the best thing they could do is obviously continue developing the game. Although they do have a roadmap, I don't know how many people are excited for that roadmap, but if they said, we're bringing out a campaign, I know this is pushing it, but a 8 to 10 hour campaign on Marathon, I guarantee, I think a lot of people would want to buy that game, including myself, because the gunplay looks so good. I think it looks good. I love the art style, but it just doesn't appeal to me. And why am I going to buy another multiplayer game, which I played Arc Raiders, I don't play anymore. I'm playing Crimson Desert for over 66 hours and haven't left Hernand yet. So my point is, I think that's the best thing they could do, is make a campaign, add it to the game. I think you'll see an influx of loads of different players because they will want to play that campaign. But I just can't believe how much it's cost. And do you think Sony are going to realize, or kind of think, you know what, we need to die down on these live service? They already are when you come to think about it, but I think it's the best thing they could do. How many more studios are going to close? I don't know. Obviously, Blue Point Studios, can't believe they still got closed down. Obviously, Naughty Dog moved on. Insomniac moved on. Bench Studio moved on because of these ridiculous decisions from these higher-ups. But for Marathon, I don't know where they kind of go from here. I don't know how you then get and try and get an influx of new players into this game when it's sitting at 15,000 players right now. How many more sales can you actually make? I don't know. If it's already sold just over 1.2 million when they need to sell, what, 15 million? Yeah, they need to sell between 7 to 15 million copies. I don't even think they're going to get to 5 million. But what do you think about live service games? What do you think about Marathon? Do you think it's going to die? Do you think they're going to quickly move over to like Destiny 3? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know.